Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. I hope you're doing good. It's your girl Sika as always, and happy Sunday. I'm just waiting for a few people to jump on the live video before we get cracking, but I am super excited to talk about this topic because it's something that we as a people don't talk about much because people roll their eyes, oh, it's too embarrassing. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Sometimes the truth hurts, but the truth is also what brings about reformation. Sister Teresa, good morning to you, sweetheart. I hope you're doing good. God bless you for being here. I'm waiting for a few more people, and then we can get the show on the road. But good morning to whoever is hiding and not enabling me to see them. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning to everybody. Relationships are a very key part of our lives, whether we like it or not. That is God's honest truth. And for those of us who are in it, it becomes important that any issues that arise from these relationships, whatever kind of relationship it is, that they are addressed. But today, we are talking specifically about marriages, romantic relationships between two people, and how important it is that people keep themselves clean and hygienic in that relationship, in the bedstead. Sister Evelyn, good morning. How are you doing? I hope you're fine. And so, men and women get together, they get to, their bedmatic stuff. And I hear an awful lot of complaints when it comes to both sides keeping themselves clean, neat, and tidy. And I'm going to start from the top part of the body and work my way down as to why it's important on both sides that people keep themselves clean and hygienic. When we start with the hair, especially some of us women, we go and we get all kinds of stuff done to our hair. Maybe you have hair extensions, you have your own hair, but it's long or longer than mine. And then you have, whether it's braids or cane rolled or whatever it is. If you keep that for an awful lot of time, the skin has pores in them. And so your scalp, being part of your skin, also has pores, susceptible to sweating and all kinds of things. And so if weeks and months go by and you don't wash your hair, I'm sorry, but the sweat under your scalp will start to smell. And so there's some people that have hairstyles that they've kept for weeks, months on end, especially when you live in the diaspora. It's very expensive to get your hair done. And so somebody thinks, if I put my hair into braids, then that's the end of the story. I don't have to worry about it for the next 3 to 6 months. But honey, it doesn't change the fact that you sweat, and the sweat is in your scalp at the bottom part of your hair and is susceptible to smelling. And so every so often, it's important that you wash this hair. Wash it with good shampoo. Even ordinary soap, if that's what you're saying that you can't afford to buy shampoo to wash your hair, please. Even ordinary soap and water, that's the job. But at least keep your scalp clean. Keep your hair clean. Sometimes we don't understand how we have hair and the hair is refusing to grow. How can your hair grow when the follicles of the skin underneath the hair is clogged with all kinds of things, including sweat? Question. Unless you're prepared to clean yourself, even your skin, your normal skin, if you don't clean it over time, you yourself, you begin to smell. Where I'm at here in Calgary, it's summer. And believe me, it's only 6 in the morning, but it is so hot. It's not even funny. And so leave yourself for a whole day and don't have a shower. And then, try to put your nose underneath your own arms and see how it smells. Not to talk of your hair. And weeks and months go by and you haven't washed your hair. Now imagine that this smelly hair of yours, you're cooking with it, you're going out with it. So now there are other smells that are inside the hair from the cooking that you did. You fried some fish, you made some soup or something that has a pungent smell in it. Now all of that mixed up with the sweat is under your hair follicles. It's not pleasant. And so please, my sisters especially, that doesn't preclude or, ignore or let the brothers off the hook. Washing your hair and washing it properly is important. You want somebody to make love to you and you're lying in the bed and your hair stinks. Like, as soon as they lie next to you, the first thing that catches the smell is their nose. That is very off-putting to begin with and doesn't foster anything about lovemaking in that relationship. And so please, washing your hair is very, very important. Now, the back of your ear, your earlobe, the back of it, because of all the folds that come with that ear organ itself, it's an area that collects a lot of garbage. And so in the washing of the hair and the washing of the face, the back of your ear needs to be washed. If you put a bit of soap on this finger and you go behind your earlobes and clean that place, allow water to go there and clean it properly, and then clean it with a towel afterwards, you also make sure that that part of your face is also clean. Any stench of any kind just makes lovemaking off-putting. So please, on both sides, your face needs to be cleaned. Your hair needs to be cleaned. The back of your ear needs to be cleaned. We're still on the head. We're not done. We're going down. It goes without saying that when you're talking, the first thing that attracts people is your teeth and your mouth. Whether we like it or not, once we have a mouth and we are alive, there is saliva inside of your mouth. And there is good bacteria inside your mouth. If your mouth is kept clean, the pH in your mouth, the level of acidity and how basic your mouth is, remains balanced. But if you yawn and you put your own hand towards your mouth and nose, and what comes out of your mouth doesn't smell good, that's a classic telltale sign that I need to do something about this. A lot of the stench that comes out of our mouth is as a result of food particles that get stuck in between our teeth that doesn't get to come out. If you have a good floss, you can floss your teeth after every meal. It gets inside the gums, and I wish I had a floss stick here. Oh yes, I do. There are all kinds of things that you can use. Let me try to break this one apart so you can see what I mean. Here we go. This thing. This here can get in between your teeth every time you brush it on either side, and you'll be surprised the sorts of things that this thing can pick out of your teeth and bring out. Imagine that you chew meat, fish, all kinds of things, and they get stuck there over time and gather there for months on end until you go and see your dentist. Do you know the brewery that you're setting up inside your mouth? And all these, the food particles are being fed on by the bacteria in your mouth. And the bacteria in your mouth, brings off all kinds of things that you don't eat. There's something I want to say, but it's so disgusting. I don't want to say it, but I think that to put it into better perspective, I have to say it. Do you know that when that bacteria inside your mouth is feeding on those food particles that are stuck in your mouth, they pee and poop inside your mouth? The bacteria, that's what they're doing there. Because what are they supposed to do? Well, you normal human being that is listening to me this morning, when you've eaten and the food digests and everything, you have to get the pits that are not used up outside of you through your back passage. And so likewise, all of those things are going on inside of your mouth, and the stench is just collecting and collecting and collecting over time. Now you have this thing in your mouth and you're lying next to your significant other, whether it's the man that has the stench or the woman that has the stench, and you want deep throat kissing. You want somebody to put their lips on top of yours and exchange, mouth fluids with you. Like, how is that a fair thing to do? Worse still, you want your wife or your husband or your significant other to go down on you. So now they're spreading whatever is inside their mouth to your, the organs that are down there, that we will talk about in much more detail further down this video. Sometimes all these infections that people end up getting and they're treating is just because people refuse to be hygienic. That's what causes half of the problems. And so please, it doesn't cost anything to buy a toothbrush, a good one. And it needs to be changed after every 12 weeks, sometimes even less. As soon as the brittles of your brush start to, look funny, it's time to change them. Some people, in brushing their teeth, end up chewing on the bristles of the brush. And so the toothbrush looks a mess. Hello, Auntie Rose. How are you doing? I hope you're fine, sweetheart. And good morning to everybody, Sister Teresa, Mr. Roman, Karen. Good morning to everybody. It doesn't make any sense, sweetheart. Your toothbrush needs to be changed after every 12 weeks maximum. The bristles have done their job. How much does a toothbrush cost? Not a lot of money. And put good toothpaste on it so that you can get the things that need to come out of your mouth outside of your mouth. And I know somebody's going to sit here and say, why is she talking about this? This is just common sense things. Yeah. It may be common sense things, but the conversations that I have behind closed doors with people are the reason why I'm doing this video. Because apparently, what you think is common sense isn't common sense to everybody. Please. And some people think that it's only when they wake up in the morning that they're supposed to brush their teeth. They don't have to brush their teeth when they go to bed. Oh, you're just about going to bed and you have a bottle of Fanta and then you go and sleep. Do you know that it is really at the night time when you're asleep that those bacteria that I'm talking about, that's when you invite the bad ones to join the good ones and they do the business in your mouth. And so it's not only when you wake up in the morning that you have to brush your teeth. The teeth ought to be brushed before you go to bed. The last thing that you do before you go to bed. And in between the day, if you've eaten something that has a lot of pungent smells, like garlic, it has a very, very pungent smell. Or you've eaten some soup or some stew, and you yourself, you can feel like your teeth is not how it should be. It's time to give your mouth a rinse and use your floss stick or whatever. Some people just use the string itself and are able to get in between your teeth. I don't care how you do it, but get the stuff outside of your mouth and rinse your mouth so that your mouth is more appealing. Salt is good for gargling, and it actually it acts as an antiseptic solution. So it's good to prevent the bad guys from getting into your mouth as well. But the food particles still need to come out of your mouth to begin with. And then yes, gargling with warm salt water solution is a good thing to do as well, to help your face, to help your teeth and the inside of your mouth. Then you can expect your other half to be happy, to want to give you deep throat and kiss you and all of that. You know, sometimes you take your mouth to your significant other and they turn their head away or they're pulling back. That should tell you that not all is well in my mouth. And I need to do something about it because it's very off-putting. What do you mean by saliva doesn't function when you're sleeping? And that's when bacteria thrives. Yeah, I get what you're saying. But the thing is, whether saliva is at work or it isn't, the fact of it is that as a person, you need to brush your teeth at least 2 to 3 times a day. Brush your teeth. Brush your teeth. It's just the most humane thing that you can do. We don't need to smell all the things that have gone into your mouth for the day. That's very unpleasant. And it's not even just for your significant other. Imagine that you go to the office and you're sitting with other people working, or you're in any public setting and you're doing this to your mouth. How is that helpful? Spewing everything that you have eaten and inviting everybody else to be a party to it. It's not nice. Please, cleaning your teeth, cleaning your mouth, very important. We are still on the body. We're almost done with the face and we're heading downwards. The next very important thing for me is this, your fingers. I don't understand why some blokes think that having, especially this fingernail, as a long nail, is a pleasant thing or is something appealing. I don't know what they do with having, you find men and they have this extra bit of nail on this particular finger especially. Sometimes it's all the fingers, but this particular one, I don't understand that. Guys in the house, can you please explain to me what men use the long nails on this finger? What is it used for? Because it looks like I'm lost in transition somewhere. I don't understand. But you find a lot of people growing this nail, and underneath the nail there's this black layer of filth, absolute filth that gathers there. Even if you can't see it with your eyes. If you have long nails that water and whatever else can get underneath, it is a good place for bacteria and all the bad stuff to be hiding. Herbal teas are also good for oral health. Thank you very much, sweetheart. But what I'm saying is that brushing your teeth and cleaning your mouth, there's nothing that you can compare to that. Keeping good hygiene, dental hygiene, is absolutely crucial. Now, with your fingers, you're keeping all the bad stuff underneath those layers of your nails. And then you're taking those same fingers, that same hand, you're using it on your significant other when you guys are doing your stuff in your bedstead. Like, it doesn't show that you care about your partner, especially when a man is doing that to a woman, because the woman's down below is just open, and everything that you put in there is going inside of her. Sister Rose said it's called a cook nail, either for a look or for other things. I don't understand. Why that particular nail though? Why? And why should anybody have long nails that they can't look after? and this is none of my business. Each to their own, and everybody should do what works for them. But one thing that I've never understood is in this Advent, when a lot of my sisters have nail extensions put to their nails, acrylic nails put to their nails. I don't understand why some of my sisters have them so long that they're almost claw-like. Because I look at it and I ask myself, so how are people able to clean their VJs with those kinds of nails? How is it possible for you to really clean it? How are you able to do it and do it effectively? Because we're going to get there, but you're not supposed to put any chemical stuff down below. That is a very self-cleaning place. And so water and your fingers are all you need. But let's pack that to one side because we're still talking about nails here. If you have nails that are so long that you can't keep yourself clean, you can't use the tip of your fingers to clean yourself, honey, I think it's too long. And I think you need to do something about it to be able to clean yourself up properly. And so my guys, please, if you're going to be going down on your woman and using any part of your fingers, the more hygienic and clean those fingers are, the better for your spouse. Because introducing bacteria into a space that is already struggling and exposed to the elements doesn't seem like a very wise thing to do. Good morning, Mr. David. How are you doing? Mr. Richard Bolajoku, how are you doing, sweetheart? I hope I haven't completely massacred your name. And good morning to everybody. Sister Wendy, how are you? But please, cleanliness is next to godliness. And keeping your fingernails clean is good for yourself, and it's also kind to your significant other. We're still moving on. So now we're past the head. We've talked about the fingernails and the hands, and now we're going downwards. The next important stop place is the underarms, your armpit. Some people take their clothes off and it's like there's a rat that has died in the room because they never take the trouble to scrub underneath their arms when they're showering or having a bath. Worse still, some people grow the pubic hairs in their armpits as if, they are trying to put curtains under their underarm. And I know that in some cultures, shaving your armpit or your underarm is not a thing, but keep it clean. If that's what floats your boat, that's okay. But keep that hair that is there, keep it clean. But in most cultures, especially in my culture, how I was raised, all the stuff in your underarm gotta go. You shave it regularly. Either with a shaving stick or whatever, or use hair removing cream. However way you do it, the hair gotta go. And you need to scrub your underarm and get all the sweating and everything else from under there out of the way. Good warm water, good soap, and some good cleaning can do this very effectively. And if you can't, if the sponge and the water and the soap is not helping, you can always use some lime or lemon. Actually cut the lemon or the lime. Squeeze it so that the juices are ready to ooze out of it. And use the whole lemon together with the skin on it to clean your underarm. Use that to clean your underarm so that there isn't any stench coming out of that place. It's not fair to your significant other lying next to you in the bed. You want them to lie next to you so you can hold them. And if they're not tall enough, then their head is where your armpit is, and they have to smell all the things that are going on there. It's not fair. Please, your underarm needs to be clean. Whether you choose to keep hair there or not is your own cup of tea. But I'm saying, however you do it, keep it clean. I personally don't appreciate hair in anybody's underarm. You're not about to grow a weed farm underneath your armpits. So please, naked to the skin seems the most helpful way of keeping that place clean. But I know that in some French cultures especially, shaving your armpits is not really a biggie. However way you do it, keep yourself clean. Keep the stench out of your underarm. And you cannot go wrong with lemon and lime. You can't. As a teenager, those were the things that my grandmom, instilled in us growing up. Bicarbonate of soda is another one. But lemon and lime, come on, those things are common. 2 for penny. You can get it to buy and you can clean yourself. My nieces and nephews, they're now all getting into the teenage. The same tradition that was handed down to us is what we're handing down to them too. Using lemon and lime to clean your underarm, as a teenager. Growing up in Ghana, there was this class called Life Skills. And I remember that the lesson about keeping yourself clean, and I'm just smiling in my head, the sorts of conversations that we had. This is going back about 32 years or so back, And these things, we were laughing about them at the time. And I remember even then thinking, why does the teacher have to tell us how we need to have our baths? What is all this? But it's making sense now. Because now, many decades later, I'm having conversations with people back door. And one of the big things that is a very big turn-off is lack of hygiene in specific areas of the human body inside the bed. Keep your underarms clean. Now, for the sisters, especially, because we are the ones that tend to have big boobs. And sometimes, even before anything happens, there is space between your boob itself underneath the breast all the way down to your armpit because of the size of the breast itself. Please, when you're having a shower, it's not just about the water running from your face down to your feet. You need to clean the space, that part, that fold that is there underneath your breast. It also sweats a lot and needs to be cleaned. Also, your bra that you put on, you sweat in there. And it also needs to be washed and changed periodically. You cannot have one brassiere that you wear for a week without washing it or changing it. As a woman, you should have as many bras as you have your other understuff, because depending on where you are, wear that thing for one day and it's sweaty. There's so much sweat that is in there. So imagine that you've worn this bra for the day and you had a lot of sweat and it was almost dripping off of you. Then you go visit or go home to your husband, and then this is the same thing that you're presenting to him to go inside the bed with. Do you know how off-putting that is? Do you know how much stench is coming out of that thing? And so when you take it off, the room is already having a different vibe of smell in there. because all the sweat has collected there over time, and together with all the other smells from about, and it's drawn all of that to you. You see, because we don't have a microscope to see the actual pores on our skin, a lot of us don't recognize how serious it is that a lot of things are seeping into our skin and clogging the follicles and preventing you from looking good. Because you don't clean it periodically, the follicles of your skin are blocked with sweat and all kinds of other stuff. It isn't even able to excrete the sweat to remove all the toxins that shouldn't be inside of you out. And so I can't emphasize this enough. Please, this is not to embarrass anybody, but please, cleaning your bra, your undergarments is important. Raising up your boobs, if you know your boobs are that big, and cleaning underneath it, all the sweat that gathers there is important. It's good for your own self, and it's good for your significant other too. Belly button. Next, please. Some people have their belly button sticking out. There are no folds. There's no nothing. There's no, there are no folds around that belly button area. And so, hey, that's what you got. But there are other people that have folds where your belly button is. And if you're one of those people, you need to find a way to clean those folds of your belly button out. Because that's also a very good place where sweat and everything else gathers. And trust me, it smells. And if you don't believe me, take a cotton bud. Let me see if I've got one here. Yeah, I think I do actually. This. And if you put any hydrogen peroxide or, surgical spirit or rubbing alcohol, that's what the North Americans call it, and you stick it there to try to clean it, you will see the brown and black stuff that gets stuck on this thing when you bring it out. And if you try to smell it, you may pass out. It stinks like hell. Cleaning that part of your body regularly, essential. Please. It's just important to not allow things that shouldn't grow on you to grow on you, period. That's just period. We're going down, and now I'm going to have to divvy it up. Talk about the men, talk about the women, because the genitals are very different. Okay? So we're going to start talking about the sisters in the house. So now we've talked about your everything down to your waistline, and we're heading downwards. We're now in your pelvic area. Whether you like it or not, as long as you have thighs and legs. The best illustration is my teddy bear here, Mr. Brick. As long as you have thighs and legs, let's imagine that this part of the teddy bear, this part here, is the genital area. This is the leg. There are folds where your panty line goes. That's groin, that part of you. It needs to be cleaned. Because depending on how big your thighs are, there are folds there. There is a fold there where sweat also gathers. And it's important that that is cleaned periodically. Every time you shower, make sure that the sponge, the soap, and everything is getting in there, where the leg and the hip bone, where they meet in your groin, and keep it clean. That goes for the men also. But now we're talking about your down below. And for women, when you open it up, it opens like a book. There's the outer lip of your vagina, and that needs to be clean of itself. And then there's the inner lip itself too, that also needs to be clean. Now, the woman's down below, all the nerves and everything that is there, means that it's a very sensitive organ that must be treated with the utmost respect and care. What am I saying? A lot of my sisters have turned their down below into suya. You put ginger, you put garlic, you put all kinds of things, cloves, to clean your down below. Are we barbecuing? Are you barbecuing your down below? Is it ready to get on the grill to be roasted? Are we making kebabs? Like, that place is a self-cleansing place. If you're healthy and there's nothing wrong, your pH down there is on point. All you need is your fingertips and good running water. It does not need any soap. The chemicals that are in the soap that we use to shower with is too much. It's too toxic for your precious VJ to be subjected to that. And somebody will be listening, but how can I wash myself and not clean my down below with soap and water? Do you know how it smells? If your down below smells, my sister, there's something wrong with you. There's an imbalance of the pH, and that needs to be treated. That's an infection. And there's nothing wrong with admitting that you have an infection and it needs to be treated. Some people go the extra mile of putting douche, all kinds of things, both perfumed and non-perfumed. My sister, you're killing yourself slowly. That part of your body, your VJ down there, is the most precious and most delicate thing that you can have as a woman. Please, please, I'm begging you. Forget about everything I've talked about on this live video. And if you're listening to me as a sister, I'm pleading with you. And the brothers in the house, share this video with your loved ones, your wife, your sister, your auntie, your cousins, your kids. Because it's that much important. Please, I'm begging you. This is a self-cleansing area. All it needs is good, clean water and your fingers. But the absolute worst thing you can do to yourself is sticking anything else in there in the name of cleaning it. And what kills me is all those very hot, harsh spices that you're sticking down there because you think you're cleaning it. Ginger, garlic, cloves. How cruel can you be to yourself? Like it's like you don't love yourself. And all those things just go to mask the smell. Because now when your significant other gets in there, all they're smelling is the ginger and the cloves and the garlic. But in actual fact, you haven't actually tackled the problem. And any foreign stuff that you put there is causing the pH of your down below to not be balanced. And anything that causes imbalances in your down below is terrible. It's when you have an infection. It's when there's something amiss. There's something that is horribly wrong down there that needs to be treated. You know, when you wear knickers that are not made from fabrics that allow for some little bit of air to get down there, like some of my sisters like to put on nylon and all these silky things. Yeah, it looks nice for, you know, romantic things. But beyond that, it's not a practical fabric to be wearing for your daily, you know, gallivanting around to work or whatever. In your bedroom, when you've had your shower and you're trying to be romantic, I get that. But in that space, you don't keep those knickers on for any length of time. It makes sense. But for your daily commute, walking around and doing your daily stuff, whatever you do, wearing cotton type knickers is definitely the way to go, because cotton breathes a lot more than all the other fabric, synthetic things that you put down there. Because once you put your knickers on, there's hardly any breeze, any air that is going. It's not properly ventilated. And it's another good growing hub for bacteria. Now, if on top of that, because there are also pubic hairs that are growing on and on the sides of the outer lip of your special place. If those hairs become so long and, you cover it with your panties the whole day, you sweat in there, and you're not keeping that whole thing clean, it's not surprising that you always end up with all kinds of candida, bacterial stuff. You have white, you have this, that, and the other, because you're not keeping it clean, neat, and tidy. Some people like to keep a bush. Some people's spouses prefer their wives to have a bush. But if a bush is what you're keeping, keep the bush clean. Because not doing that is a good way to introduce the bad stuff in there. The VJ has good bacteria, but if it's not kept clean, the bad ones seep in. And then now the pH is not balanced. And let's not forget that because of the way our physique is as a woman and our anatomy is, there's also hormonal imbalances and changes that are going on in your down below. And so when all these things are happening and you're going through the changes of life as a woman, and coupled with all that, you're also allowing dirty stuff in there, you're setting yourself up for failure. Because sometimes when estrogen needs to be high and it's not, and progesterone is doing something else, the pH of that whole place, it changes as well. So there are just too many things, complexities going on. That introducing new stuff down there as your way of cleaning is not the way to do it. And I heard and watched a video that made me so sad. Like, I haven't gotten over the horror of what I saw, but somebody, and this happened in Ghana, they went to the market and bought alum, chemical alum, something that is very common. You can get very commonly in Ghana, and I'm sure in other parts of Africa too. And the going thing was that this poor woman had been told that in order to keep your husband, in order to keep your vagina tight, so that when the men get in there, they can enjoy it and it's more pleasant, that you have to insert alum into your private part. Use it in bathing on a daily basis so that the walls of the VJ can be tight, so that the man can have the pleasure that he needs to have when you get together. And so for days, weeks, months, this girl was following instruction and putting that horrible chemical inside her down below. Now the place started oozing of some funny kind of substance. The whole space has become sore because it's eroded every good thing that there is down there. This woman now has, cancer because she wants to please her man, because it has to be tight for him. And so unfortunately, she's going to pay the ultimate price of losing her life because she tried to please a guy. And I'm not saying pleasing your significant other is a bad thing, but I definitely think that having to lose your life on the sacrifice or the altar of trying to please a man is too much of a hefty price to pay. Definitely using alum so that he can say, oh my God, my wife is so tight, it's going very well. It's too much of a price to pay. Love making should not result in anybody losing their life because they're trying to please their significant other. Personally, I don't think it's wise, but that's just me. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. Please, please, ladies, please, I'm begging you. Because cervical cancer is real. Cancer of anything down below there is real, and it happens to actual people. And I wish I could tell you it's a pleasant experience, but unfortunately, it ain't. And because of the way that whole area is, it's a silent killer. By the time it starts showing signs and bleeding and whatever, and you rush to the hospital, 95% of the time it's too late. There's nothing they can do for you. You're on a death list. And that's just the truth. It has spread, it's gone to your ovaries, it's in your kidneys, it's here, it's there, and that's it's game over. The seating place, apart from the brain of a woman, is that hole down below, that pelvic region. And it's not just even a physical thing, it's also a spiritual one. That hub, everything from your belly button down below, that's where all the chakral nerves, that's where they all are. It's the seating place of a woman. That's what makes that core part of your body. That's what makes you you. All the feelings and intuitions and everything that a woman has, that's where it stems from. Both good and bad. And so please, I'm not just talking about physical stuff here. Now I'm getting very worked up. I'm very passionate about women and keeping ourselves alive so much. Because there are too many people I know or knew that have lost their lives because of this. And so please, please, I'm begging you, keep this part of your body clean, safe as much as possible. Do yourself a favor. Love yourself enough. And do yourself a favor. Because introducing all those funny things into your down below, it doesn't make any sense. Look, a man will love you if they love you. And if they don't, they don't. There's nothing you can do. It's not the tightness or whatever that's going to make anybody who genuinely wants to be with you stay or go. They either love you or they don't. And the fact about it is that as humans, we're meant to change over time. But we can also educate ourselves to prolong the effects of aging that we don't like. If tightness is what you're looking for, there's so many pelvic exercises that you can do. Even pretending to be holding your pee. You know, when you go out and there's no proper place that you can use the bathroom, you can squeeze your inside in to hold your pee. Doing that for moments and letting go, doing it again and letting go, doing it, tightening it up and holding it for 10 seconds, let it go. Do it again for 10 seconds, let it go. Doing those things throughout the day already is strengthening your pelvic floor. There are all these balls that you can buy. It's on Amazon. And you can put it in between your legs there and hold it. It's also doing the exact same thing, that same motion that I'm describing, to keep it tight. After childbirth especially, because what makes it loose over time is childbearing. But even ordinarily as a woman, and I'm sorry to say this, but it's the fact of the matter. If your mom or you yourself, you can't even tell your friends about it, but you know it is going on, is that as you hit your 40s, some people even their 30s, we see these things happen. Your pelvic floor begins to weaken. And women, especially those that have had children, begin to become incontinent. It's true. It's a fact. If you don't believe me, go research it, but it happens. You find that when you pee, depending on how your bladder is situated now, at whatever age you are, if you don't do some funny maneuvers when you sit on the WC to pee, there's pockets of pee that remain there. So now when you get up from that bended position and you stand up, after you think you finished peeing, there are still droplets of pee coming out from your down below. Why? Because there's a pocket that has formed there because of, a slight movement of your down below. And that pocket collects some of the urine in the sitting motion, unless you heave yourself up slightly so that pocket can also empty. It's there. And if you don't take care of that, it can also give you stench down below. This is a very delicate subject. Like, I'm so embarrassed in a way, but, and I know it's not a very pleasant conversation. I may be using the word embarrassed, isn't it? But it just has to be said. On this platform, there's no faffing about. We say it as it is. And it's all because the more awareness there is, the more people are willing to do what it takes, what is necessary to prevent things or to be able to better cope with what is the harsh reality of life. But women suffering incontinence as they grow older is no secret. There are even surgical procedures that have to be done on some women to do something to push the bladder and your whole cervical area so that pocket isn't there. There's so many things that happen. But, keeping the walls of your pelvis tight by doing these exercises I'm talking about. And if you go to any physiotherapy place or talk to your doctor to give you a referral to somebody that is an expert in what I'm saying, they'll tell you what I'm telling you. There are exercises that you can do to tighten the floors of your pelvis so the urine isn't gathering there. It's a harsh reality that we women have to come to terms with as part of the aging process. And there's not a lot that you can do about it. It's the harsh, sad fact of life. Just because of how we were made and what the down below has been through over the years, especially having children. So much that you can do. Now, and this is my own personal experience. You can do with this information I'm about to give you what you like. I'm not forcing you. I'm not begging you. I'm just sharing what I have done that has helped me. It's no secret that Sika has polycystic ovarian disease. If you didn't know that, I'm telling you. And I've suffered and been with this for the best part of 3 decades, almost 3.5 decades. For this reason, Sika has infertility issues and does not and cannot have children. Now, it's not the only issue, because that of itself, nobody has died. You can't have children, okay, so what? But there are also ramifications on the back of that. It's not just the condition, but there are things that happen because of that. Because of the hormonal imbalances, it causes a lot of issues that you have to manage. Irregular periods, spotting, bleeding, fibroids, all kinds of things. But as you age, as a woman, You're also going through all kinds of hormonal differences because now you're in your 40s, your body is getting into the perimenopause stroke menopause. Some people hit menopause even in their late 30s. I know somebody who hit menopause at 37. They were done. For some people, it's in their 40s, late 40s. For other people, it's the 50s. Some early 60s. But whatever your situation is, it's coming. But when you have on top of these regular normal changes, polycystic ovarian syndrome or any other kind of complication in your, reproductive system, it makes it even worse. And a very difficult thing to manage. But I'm telling you what I have done in recent times that has helped me to be able to manage those symptoms. I talk about redox signaling molecules a lot on this platform, and there's a reason, because it's something I use personally. For the last 2 years and some, I've been on it, and I've seen the benefits of that. And if you're interested in doing the same, do that. But I've been ingesting redox signaling molecules because it's native to our bodies. It's already inside of you, whether you like it or not. Believe me or don't believe me. As long as you're a living thing and you have cells in your body, you have redox inside of you. But what happens is that as you hit puberty, redox signaling molecules begin to diminish in the amounts that your body itself is able to make. And so it's important that you top up with whatever you're losing periodically with more of the same, so that you're hitting those same amounts that your body needs to cope with all the things that it's trying to cope with, and hopefully keep you as youthful as you can be. So I have been ingesting redox signaling molecules for the last 2 years and some. And I can tell you that because of it, my symptoms from PCOS are better managed. For instance, for the first time in over 3 decades, and for the last 18 months, and I know it won't mean a lot to many people that are here, because it's like, but we all do this thing commonly, normally, so why is this so much of a big deal? But unless you know somebody that has that condition, it may mean nothing to you. But for me, in the last 3 decades, and for the first time in the last 18 months or so, I have been able to have menstrual cycles on point, back to back, every single month without fail, because I started ingesting redox, and it's helping to position my body where it needs to be naturally, but unfortunately, for some reason, it wasn't doing before. Again, when you have issues with your down below, you're more susceptible to all kinds of things because of the imbalance of your hormones in your down below. There's also a gel, something that you can physically put, that I have applied there. And for me, it's me sharing my testimony. I'm not laying any medical claims or anything. I'm just saying what helped me. I'm sharing. Do it if you like. Don't if you don't. I'm just sharing. And I have found that it has also helped to ward off all these things that we are talking about and bring better balance to the down below. If you're interested in more information, I'll put the link to how to get it on here when I'm done talking. You can also private message me and arrange for us to talk if that's what you want to do. The only place in this world that it will be more challenging to get it to you is Africa, because the company that makes it isn't in Africa or doesn't trade in Africa as yet. But if you live in Europe, Canada, America, Mexico, Australia, New Zealand, and a lot of Asia, it's getting into Asia too. I know it's in the Philippines and all kinds of places. Please, please. And if you know anybody that is going through difficult hormonal changes, then definitely I would prescribe that they get on Redox. It's not issue specific. Men, women, children, everybody can have it. But I'm only emphasizing this on this particular video because we're talking about hygiene and all of that when it comes to lovemaking. Because one of the key things that some of the blokes complain about when they talk about their spouses is that their women's something is as dry as anything. It's not able to self-lubricate anymore. Or if it does, it's very sparingly. And it's, it makes the whole intimacy experience not fun. Hormonal imbalances can do all of that. The woman's in there has gone through so much, childbearing, this, monthly period, this, that, and all the changes in the hormones can cause that to happen. Help yourself with something that is already innate. It's native to you. There's nothing foreign about it. You already have it inside of you. God put it there. But you just are not making enough of it as you used to. And so you're just topping up with more of the same. Zero toxicity. You can't be allergic to it. You can't react to it because you already have redox signals in you. The molecules are already there. You just need to top up with more of the same to help you have better outcomes. This is what I am doing. If you're interested, let me know. But it's helped a lot. And I listen to women day in, day out, men day in, day out, talk about how they used redox signaling molecules and they're having so much fun in their bedmatics life because it's digging to the roots of issues and tackling them from that perspective. I can never talk about something that I haven't done my own self to testify about. It's something I have done and I'm still doing. I am still ingesting redox till today that we are talking. I still have the liquid that I drink. I still have the gel that I use. If you're interested, let me know. Now, so you need to keep this part of you as clean and as toxic free as possible. All these smelly douches and all these kind of Vagisil, all kinds of funny craziness that people use, my sweetheart. Please, please. They all have a lot of chemicals in them. Whether they smell nice or they are not scented or not, I don't care. Those things are not good enough for you. They're not. Water and a clean finger can do a lot more to clean your down below than anything else can. You don't need no ginger. You don't need no alum. You don't need no cloves. You don't need anything. You're not barbecuing your down below. It's not meat that is going to be eaten. I beg you. Just water and clean fingers. And if there's some infection, stench, or something coming out of there, you need to be treated for it. Go and get help. Help is available. I'm offering it to you. If there's imbalances of any kind that is causing issues there, you can deal with it. You can address it. Let me help you. The last thing that I want to talk about with regards to us ladies is your back passage. Because the back passage and the front passage, there's just, some gap. For some, it may be longer, some not as long, depending on how wide and how big the whole cross-section of your down below is. But keeping that part of you clean and not wiping from the back to the front is important. Because a lot of people do that and introduce stuff from the back passage into the front passage. And that's how you end up with all the issues that you have with unpleasant, stenches coming out of there. Because the back passage has its own set of bacteria and things that come out of there. All the toxins that are excreted, they come out of there. It's important to keep that whole area clean, but also not wipe from the back passage into your front passage. Because in that process of wiping, you're dragging things from the back passage into the front one. And that in itself is also causing problems in your down below. I wish I didn't have to talk about that, but I do. Because it's part of the reason why people have issues with your down below. I can't emphasize it enough. I can't. So please, ladies, love yourself enough to do what is right for your own body. It's your responsibility ultimately to look after yourself. Ain't nobody gonna do that for you. It is down to you to do that for you. Now, let's switch over to the guys. We're working our way from the pelvis down. So everything I said about keeping your belly button clean applies to the men as well. Everything I said about pubic hairs and managing that applies to the men as well. A lot of the women that I have spoken to, everyday conversation, a lot of them prefer guys that have cleared all the curtains and all those bushes that are down there for a reason. The sweat and the stench around you wearing boxer shorts that again are sometimes made of foreign materials that don't help. It just causes a lot of, you sweat on that whole part and it stays there. And that's a good breeding place for bacteria. Bacteria like it where it's moist and it's warm. They thrive and they grow and multiply very quickly. So please, guys, keep that part of you, keep it clean. Again, when you pee, and I know you have a dipstick for peeing. Let's assume this is it. This is the tip of it. It has a hole there. That's where all the stuff that comes out. The pee and the sperms, they all come out of that part of you. Hello, Sister Veronica. How are you doing, sweetie? Keep it clean. You pee, all the pee comes out, pee, and then it's all out. But the tip of it tends to have bits of pee left there. There's nothing wrong with using a bit of toilet paper to clean those droplets of things that are stuck there that don't actually end up dropping out because they're droplets rather than a full drop that can come out, and wipe it so it's clean and dry. My sisters want me to tell you that not keeping the tip of it clean is very unpleasant. So I'm telling you, clean the pee. It doesn't take 10 seconds to just tear off a piece of tissue and clean that when you pee. So that is the first thing. Number 2, if you're in the bathroom and you share a bathroom with your significant other, my brother, one of the most appalling things to do is when you are going to do the peeing, you have control over where it sprays and where it splashes to because you are holding it, right? When you pee. Aim for the actual basin, like the closet itself, and pour the stuff in there. You don't have to spread it around everywhere. Some people leave droplets of the pee on the actual toilet seat that you're sharing with your wife or whoever else. And your wife's down below is like a pot with no lid. Then your wife unknowingly in the middle of the night goes to sit in that pee. Everything that is coming out of this part that include toxins that you're peeing out, you now want your wife's down below to take on that thing. It's very unfair, very annoying, and it doesn't make any sense. You're peeing it out because it's bad stuff. Aim for the actual bowl, like the hole that the pee is supposed to go into. You have control over it. Hold it where it needs to go and point it to the right place. And if by some mistake there drops on the toilet seat, it doesn't take more than 15 seconds to wipe that thing off and, make it antiseptic. Clean it off properly. And I don't just mean put tissue on it. I mean clean the seat properly so that it's clean and, it's good for you and it's good for your significant other. If she matters to you that much, you won't be spreading your things and expecting her to, take that back inside of herself. Like I said, the woman's anatomy is very different from the guy's. This one is like an open book, an open pot, susceptible to everything. Protect it with everything that you have. Not just the woman, but you as the head of the home. Supposed to be the covering, the protector, the everything. Do that to the down below as well, because it matters to you. That is an incubation pot. So if you don't want bad stuff, protect it. So that's the first thing I'll say to guys. Now, when you're bathing, my brothers, that whole thing that you have, you need to wash it too. It needs washing. It's not that you just, have a shower and then you just stand there and the water will just run over it and that is cleaning. You have to actually physically hold your thing and clean it properly, so that all the stuff that needs to come off of it comes off of it. This is why I'm saying that the bushes that are there, it's easier to keep yourself clean when those bushes are not there, because it's an extra thing to be worrying about. Now, beneath this thing, two balls that are there in a big scrotal sac that God has given you. Very nice. But that sac, depending on how it is also susceptible. The outer bit of the sac is also susceptible to drawing a lot of moisture, drawing a lot of sweat and stench. I beg you. Men who are really clean and tidy, they also use the same lemon and lime thing that we talked about to clean their underarms, to also, scrub around the scrotal sac, the balls and the thing itself, the penis itself. Why? Because they don't want to have any unnecessary, unpleasant smells around that whole area. Now, the reason why it's so important to clean that sac behind this thing, on the tail end of it, on the back side of it, is this. That part of you is very close to your back passage. And some of my brothers, I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's the upbringing, not being taught how to wipe properly. I don't know what it is. But if you have curtains that are growing in the whole scrotal sac stroke back passage, the tendency to have bits of fecal matter from your back passage on there is significantly high, increasing the chances of perpetual smell down there. And there's so many guys in today's day and age They are asking, I want my wife to go down on me. I want my wife to give me blowjob. I want my wife to go down on me. But the place is reeking of P and number 2 put together. If they took your own head off of your shoulder and stuck it on your back passage with all the balls and everything, you won't last there for 2 seconds. But you want your wife. You want her to go down on you and do things that will make you happy. But you're not even being respectful enough to keep that part of your body clean. I beg my Ogas in the house. I'm sorry, but I have to just say it as it is. You know me now, my big mouth. I have to say it as it is. If this bedmatic stuff is going to be exciting and entertaining and enjoyable for both sides, it's important that both sides keep themselves clean. And so, Oga, Biko, keep your this thing, the dipstick, keep it clean. And then the sack with the balls in it, keep that sack, that bag, that handbag, keep it clean. Scrub around it, make sure that the sponge and soap that you're using to bathe your body touches every part of your body. If there are hairs in your back passage, get rid of all of those things there so you have a clear path to keep that part of you clean. It's not fair to invite your spouse to be having touches with toxins from your back passage, hitting your balls and everything else around it. It's not fair. The fact that she loves you and you want to make love doesn't mean she has to end up in a hospital or worse because she is dealing with things that she shouldn't be dealing with. We've talked about the women, now I'm talking about the men. Keep it clean. Now, related or unrelated, there's one last point that I'm going to make to end this video. Next week, we're going to actually talk about the actual love-making thing itself. This is the prelude because godliness and cleanliness must take place first before we now actually go into the actual thing itself and talk about the issues that arise from that. And that last thing is this. In the whole love-making thing, both parties need to come into it with the idea that I am giving and I'm receiving in return. If you're going to be that selfish person that says, it's all about me. It's all about me. I'm just getting in there to have my bit. All I care about is that I stick it in there and I climax and I don't care about the other party. That is selfishness. And so some of the brothers in the house, they want their significant others to go down there and do all kinds of funny things to you and you be screaming like a baby. But when your wife also says they want you to also go down on them and do the same thing that you want them to do to you to them, men will come up with all the excuses you can think about. Oh, I don't want to die of throat cancer. Oh, I don't, this is so yucky. I can't do it. But it's not yucky for her to do it to you, but you want to have all the full fun and the pleasure, but you don't want to do the same thing to your significant other, your wife, if that's what she's asking you to do. That doesn't seem like a fair thing, a fair deal to me. And my sisters have asked me to tell you that if you're not prepared to do it for them, they have also closed for business doing it for you. Because in the whole space of this whole let's make love thing, it's for both parties to have pleasure. You complain, and my wife is so stiff. She doesn't have any drive. She doesn't have any libido. Her thing is as dry as Hamatan Popo. How would it not be dry now? Because women's bodies, the way it was made, it is not like a jump start machine. You know, like when your vehicle isn't starting, you just put negative, positive, and negative thing on the battery. You crank it and it's moving. Doesn't work like that for women. Women are the sorts of people that need the whole foreplay business. You know, you need to get them in the mood. Look, let me end this video here because now I'm eating into what we'll talk about next Sunday. But the point I'm making here is this. Cleanliness and personal hygiene is next to godliness. From the tip of your hair to the soles of your feet, cleanliness is next to godliness. Men who and women alike who would keep their toenails and the other nails on the other toe so long that they are like claws. When your husband or your wife is rubbing their thighs and their legs on you, you are pinching them with your nails and causing scars on their feet. I beg. If you need pedicure, go and get one. Stop making the whole experience uncomfortable and unbearable. If there's dead skin on your feet, scrub it off. If you can't scrub it out, in today's day and age, if you have pedicure, they have machinery to take away all those unpleasant things. Cut your toenails and make it look, you know. And if you live in a dry climate, then you need to put more moisturizer so that the dry skin can be moist. Then it stops being like a grater. You know, the stuff that we use to grate cheese, carrots, and whatever. It stops feeling like that. All of those things are very off-putting. It doesn't show that you're being gentlemanly or ladylike. And those are all things that need to be addressed so that the bedmatics experience for the couple is as pleasant as it can be. Brighten the corner where you are. You are the only person, the architect of your own destiny. It's down to both parties on both sides to make it a pleasant and enjoyable experience for the both sides. It's not down to the man to make it happy and pleasant. It's not down to the woman by herself to make it pleasant. It's both parties in that relationship, that marriage, that make it a pleasant experience. So keep yourself clean. How hard is that? Because cleanliness is next to godliness. I want to thank every single one of you on this. I didn't see any questions, any comments. So that means that hopefully I said something tangible that made sense and you are all agreeing with. But what is important to me, please, is that you share this video. Share this video on your personal profile pages. There are other people that need to hear what I've said today. And maybe make some changes to their own love life and make it a more enjoyable experience for both sides. Please, I'm begging you. Help me help you. Let's get the word out there. You know, it's only Big Up Seeker that says the things that are uncomfortable to say, but I've said them. Because I think that it's important for all of us. Thank you so much, darling. It's important for all of us to elevate ourselves. The motto of this page is empowerment through education. Education isn't just, you know, amassing degrees, but it's also having the life skills to make yourself a better person. Staying clean and healthy is the key point, no matter how it's spelled out. Thank you so much, sister. You said that. You said what others fear to articulate. Both parties are equally responsible. It's just equity. It's just common sense. It's just fair. Right? It's just fair that both of us do what we need to do to make it pleasant. You know, I can't wait for next week when we actually delve into the actual art of lovemaking and the issues that are centered around that. Was it last week or a while back? I was talking about the things that don't, make it an enjoyable experience. What are the things that get in the way? So help yourselves and make it a better experience. And those of you who want the extra vibe, don't forget about what I said about redox signaling molecules. It will really make a change in that space if you catch my drift. Because that's what everybody that I know that does it, that's what they all come back with. Oh my God, I thought my sex life was dead until I used this, and now it's a whole new experience. And oh my God, my husband is loving it. My wife says I'm the guy again. So if you're struggling in that department, let's help you. Can't get it up and keep it up, all of those things. Redox signaling molecules. Dig to the deep root causes of an issue and tackle them. I love you so much. I like it when I see people that are truly happy because they do the easy things in life to make themselves happy. That's what life is all about. It's not meant to be endured, but enjoyed. So on that note, Sister Cecilia, Sister Rose, Landolin, Sister Brother James, Nokulunga, I hope I said it right, Brother Emmanuel, Sister Veronica, Tanelli, Cecilia, God bless you all for being here. I could go on and on, but I think this video has gone as long as it should be. Pay heed, pay close attention, and please share this video. I beg you, if you love me, if you claim to love me, share this video. May the heavens bless you. May your week ahead be blessed. May everything you touch be blessed. And take care of yourself. Bye.